What's up, fam? We're back. It's been a while. We have stopped actually putting up episodes of the podcast for quite a while. But I've been remiss if I would say that people haven't been listening. I've been touched, and when I looked at the episodes, that people are actually listening to old episodes and people are still actually listening. So I am actually so glad that that's still happening, and it gives me encouragement to continue. So welcome again to the podcast studio, aka my mom's old bedroom, and now my office and library. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about
Here
where
we
I've
go.
been, where we're going, and what we're doing with the podcast. So stay tuned.
Different points of view and highs and lows. A new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind, drown out the noise, and see if this connected. And see if this connected.
So again, welcome back, and I'm so happy to be back with you, fam, to talk about where I've been, where we're going, and when you can expect. Again, it's not going to be a polished episode. It's not going to be polished podcasting here. It's just connecting generations and situations just like we did before. So again, if you look at past episodes of the podcast, I think the last episode that's actually on Spotify is episode 169. But if you look on our YouTube channel, actually the episodes go all the way up to episode 217. And why is that? Well, the reason for that is after taking a break from podcasting, I had to do some soul searching on where am I being called to do? What am I being called to share? And I really didn't think that I had anything else to say. But then people kept saying to me, "Hey, you should continue because people still want to hear something that's different. Nothing that's controversial, although it can be sometimes the way that you perceive it, and something that's just you." So here it is. So I still have the old shirt, Catholic.Dad, thisconnected, 03. And the question was asked, where have you been? And so I did. I took a break. I took a long pause. It's like I took a deep breath on what am I being called to ministry. And in that, I decided to say, well, I went on pilgrimage. I went on a journey. And in September of last year, I decided to, go back. In November of last year, which was 2023, I retired. I retired from work and thought, I'm going to do ministry full time. And, kinks happened and something had to pause. And then last year in September, I finally did one of the things that was on my bucket list, which was to do the Camino Santiago and actually do a pilgrimage and to see Rome, to visit the Vatican, to do all of that. So in September 6th of last year, for 14 days, I think 10 to 14 days, my wife and I went to see Rome, Florence, Pisa, and all of that. And we actually vlogged it. So if you want to see that, you can go on the YouTube channel, Thisconnected, and you can watch my silly attempt at trying to vlog a vacation trip throughout Italy. And I think I had a hard time doing it, so bear with that. But after that, my wife had to go back home because she had to work. She hadn't been retired yet. She has many more years to work. I do too, but I was just, I'm done, meh. And so what I did, and I had planned, is I did the Camino. It's one of the things on my bucket list, and I had promised when I turned an age that I can retire, I would do this Camino. So shout out to Adrian and Mina, who were supposed to go with me, who are now becoming doctors and are engineers and living their lives. They didn't go. So I went instead with a friend of mine who asked to go, and I'm not going to mention her name, but okay, I'll mention her name, Anna. And Anna, amazingly enough, had a double lung transplant 10 months before our trip, and she went with me, and she was able to accomplish the entire trip on her own and finished. And that is an amazing feat. So that's what we did. That's what I did from September 15th all the way to almost November. We walked from Saint Jean Pied de Port in France and walked across Spain all the way to Santiago de Compostela, and then to the end of the world, Finisterre. So all of that, about 800 plus kilometers walking back and forth. Sometimes you get lost. Sometimes you have to go back for your walking sticks, things like that. So again, I made an attempt to vlog that, and I put that on YouTube. That's why the episodes on Spotify go from episode 169 and then it stops there, and then it's on the YouTube channel, it ends at 217. And funny enough, the reason for that was, well, it was really hard to edit video content and a lot of silent video content and put it on Spotify, so I apologize for that. But if you guys want to see it, it's on the YouTube channel. Again, all 37 days or 39 days of our journey together on the Camino de Santiago. Every grueling, every blister, every thing that happened on the pilgrimage that I undertook. It was actually awakening for me. And someone asked me, it's like, how did you like it? And to be honest, I was conflicted on how I felt about that pilgrimage, because I think when you go into a pilgrimage and have high expectations of thinking, oh, a Catholic pilgrimage, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be like ultra Catholics, and it wasn't. A lot of people were there. They were on their own spiritual journey, quote unquote spiritual journey, or they were on holiday or on vacation, or it was something to just bring them to become a little bit more healthy. So it was something to prove to themselves, that they were doing something that has become very popular. So it was very different, not what I expected, but again, it was still an amazing pilgrimage. I did learn a lot about myself during the trip. I spoke to God every single moment I was awake, and I think even when I was asleep. I prayed a lot of decades of the Rosary and a lot of chaplets of Divine Mercy. I experienced a miracle on the trip. Ask me on the comments about what that miracle is, or watch that episode of when that happened. I was so enthralled with my faith that I thought I had a stigmata, and found out that it was just the beads of the new rosary I bought was kind of like the ink that they dipped it in got wet because it was raining and it started bleeding out. And I can't say that I was not disappointed that I did not get a stigmata. So, just saying. Slightly disappointed. Didn't want the pain, but would have been cool though to say, oh my goodness, I had a stigmata during the Camino. And actually it was just ink that stained my pants and stained my hands. But it was funny anyways. And so that whole trip, I had lost a lot of weight. I mean, I gained, I think, 14 pounds of it back, but I did lose a lot of weight, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I have to say, I don't know if I've thanked Anna enough. Thank Anna for doing that with me and sustaining me during that time. And of course, I cannot say that I need to also say that I need to thank Sylvia, who's from New Jersey, who also walked with us. A really great companion that we met, we adopted, and I think she more adopted us. We adopted each other. We traveled together, and cousin Ann from Boston, and those were my Camino family during the whole trip that we took. We're still friends. We still communicate back and forth. And again, just like my life, I traveled with women. You know, as I always said, I have that in common with the Blessed Virgin Mary. I am blessed among women. I have 5 sisters and 2 daughters and a wife. And I can't say that I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't the prayers of for you, but also for the support of my wife, who allowed me to go and disappear from her for all that time. I was able to speak to her almost every morning and every evening, to her discontent that I didn't speak to her enough. I am so sorry. I was on a journey, and I was tired. So, if you ever have questions about the Camino and how to do it and what we did, success stories and not so success stories, watch the episodes or simply DM me or email me at catholic.dad50@gmail.com, and I'm more than willing to share that. And if you guys want anyone to talk about it to your groups, I am more than willing to talk about it. So, what now? What are we going to do now that we're back and doing these episodes? As I told you where I've been, I'd like to know where you guys are at. And so some of these episodes bring you guys into the podcast to listen to what you've been doing. And I know that's old because it is disconnected. Listen to different points of views, but I think that's what I like about the podcast. Is we talk about what connects with you and what doesn't connect with you, or something like that, and things that we can discuss in kindness and in love and in charity. We can always agree and disagree on that and leave still friends. And as I say, dialogue always comes on the basis of we have to have a truth, understand what truth is, so that we can dialogue on that. And we continue to have that discussion. So the things that we're going to be doing, we are, let me look at my list. Things that I have been doing or will be doing is, I started a new ministry. I don't know if it's real ministry. I just wanted to do something. I loved walking and through hiking and camping so much. I got my bag right here, the one that I used, my hat, my clothes, things like that. I still have them. And I am going to be doing a lot of hiking, camping, through hiking. And so I'm inviting you guys to join me. So if you go to Instagram and go to This Hiking Ministry, you can join us. We go to places, and they're usually easy to moderate hikes. And hopefully in the future, we'll even do an overnight camp or a through hike. That's going to be wonderful. So those are the things I've been doing. I invite you to join me on those hikes. Also, what's planned, and probably this is only going to be on YouTube again, is I'm going to make an attempt in May or late May, early June, to do the Wisconsin Way. The Wisconsin Way, and this is that 120-mile pilgrimage hike through Wisconsin from the Church of Our Lady of Champion, the only Marian apparition in the United States, to Holy Hill. And so if you guys want to join me on that pilgrimage, you're more than welcome to join me. It's not official, it's not going to be one of those that Arnell sets it for you. Basically, the way it goes is we're going to go on that date, plan your own plane fare, bring your own tent, because there's going to be days where we're going to be camping at campsites or staying in hotels. So I'm just warning you. I'll be posting that on This Hiking Ministry Facebook page, and on, not Facebook, on Instagram, and also at Catholic.dad Instagram. So we're doing that. The other things that we're going to be doing on this podcast is I am going to also make an attempt to walk to as many Jubilee doors within my diocese, and also walking from parish to parish to just highlight parishes that have vibrant youth ministries or attempting to make vibrant youth and young adult ministries. I just want to see those parishes and what makes them tick and what makes them successful. So I'm actually going to walk from that church to another church and see a continuous footpath from there and see how that goes. I'm excited about that. Hopefully that's going to start happening in March after my surgery. So pray for me, because I'm also having a heart ablation. Sounds scary, but my doctor says it's not that scary because it's outpatient. So pray for me. And that's going to be on February 28th. And the other thing that I'll be doing is, coming up, we're going to be doing a series talking to dads. And I'm going to start it. I'm going to talk about myself. Sounds so arrogant. But I think you guys need to know me. So I'm going to talk about my entire life, and then how I got into ministry. And I'm going to call it I Confess, Confessions of a Dad. And I'm going to invite other fellow dads to talk about their lives and how it was, how it was to be a dad and things like that. And then, what else here? Oh, and lastly, I'm going to try to fit in here best practices for ministry to to the young church, and the church period, the church in general, and what I see is not happening and what I see can happen from experience and from the many books that I've been having to read because I've had a lot of time. So that's what you can expect on the podcast. So I guess this is welcome back. And I guess this is saying we're still here. 6 years, going on 7. So on that note, happy Jubilee year. Thank you for continuing to journey with us, journeying with me, supporting the podcast, praying for me, and just generally being great fam. So on that note, if you want to come on the show, if you have anything to say, DM me at catholic.dad on Instagram, or email me at catholic.dad50@gmail.com, at catholic.dad50@gmail.com. And as always, if you want to support the podcast, you can always go to our Patreon and support us that way. You can find that in our bio on our Instagram page at CatholicDad, at Catholic.dad thisconnected. And I guess I'm ranting now. Excited to come back. I hope I'll be able to edit this, learn how to edit this. And on that note, as always, please pray for each other. Please pray for each other and for me. And as always, live a life of holiness, be blessed, and be third. See you on the next episode. I forgot something. Oh. For the young people I'm currently walking with, I see you. I know you, and Jesus loves and cares about you. Amen. Take care. See you on the next episode.